Hey, you guys! Oh my God, that feels so good! Hey, guys! I'm so excited. Today I have one of my friends with me. She's a student ministry, FPC Bristol student ministry alum. And her name is Danae Kreiss. And Danae, will you tell us? Don't make me feel old, but tell us. Oh, I gotta tell you something else about Danae. She was, it's a big deal to me. Okay. She was like the first group of high school students that I got to be with all 4 years of high school here. And so it was like one of the closest groups that I ever got to graduate out. And I mean, I think we're still tight. We're good.
Yeah, some days.
Some days. All right. When did you graduate from high school?
In 2015, I graduated.
2015. Okay. And you were here like most of your childhood, right?
Yeah,
At First Pres?
Yeah, we came here when I was 8.
Fun fact, where did you move from?
New Zealand.
That's so
Born
cool.
and raised.
That's so fun. I love that fun fact. And so we got to do life together for 4 years, and then you went off to college.
I did. I went to Asbury University in Wilmore, Kentucky, and played soccer. And I actually studied youth ministry, which is what she does.
Woo! It's so exciting. And it's kind of in your blood.
Yeah.
Her dad does youth ministry and has been a professor of youth ministry for many, many years, and did a lot here. Worked with me quite a bit in my first couple of years here, so cool. And then so you graduated last May?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
what does life look like since then?
Yeah, well, not what I expected, Didn't know what I was doing when I graduated.
That's okay.
So I moved to Louisville, Kentucky, which is about an hour and a half from the university that I went to. And I did a program. I lived with 2 other girls and was working with a nonprofit there with refugees and internationals for a while. And now I'm kind of back to where I was. Not knowing what I'm going to do, not knowing what's next, but that's okay. I'm here for it.
So the Rona has ended your program a little early.
Yes.
So you're kind of back. But, I'm not going to lie, we've totally benefited by having Danae back in Bristol. It's always my favorite when
old people come back.
Yeah, old people come back, and they're just here for a little resting time. But I take full advantage of that. So here we are.
It's good.
It's good. We love having her back. And so you are kind of in a place now where you're figuring out what's going to be next for the summer. Mm-hmm. But you want to do ministry.
Yes.
It's so cool. So cool. Another fun fact, Danae speaks Spanish.
Oh, a little bit sometimes.
A little bit? Aren't you fluent proficient or something like that? Didn't you take?
I mean, yeah. I had a minor in Spanish.
She can speak Spanish. That's really cool.
If you need someone to go with you to a place that speaks Spanish, I'm your girl. I'll get you around.
So awesome. I wish I knew another language, but we go to Brazil so much, and you would think by now I would have picked up Portuguese. And I was friends with so many Brazilians in college.
Isabella?
Yeah, and I stink at it. I wish I...
Not in your blood.
No, it's just not something I pick up easy. I wish I would... I need no more excuses. I need to...
Yes, the Rona is here. You have time.
I know, time
Study Portuguese.
Time for days. All right. So I asked Danae if she would just get on. I know that we've been having different guests, and you guys have met several of my friends in youth ministry, and Danae's another friend in youth ministry. She's an alum, and I get to proudly say I got to be her youth pastor for a stint, but now she's a colleague in ministry, and how cool that is. And so I asked her just to jump on with us today and share with you guys. Danae, I would say we get a few viewers every week. We're not becoming YouTube sensations here.
Not a famous yet?
No, okay. We're working on it. We're really working on it.
Maybe this video.
Yes, this is it.
Share it, like it.
We'll send you
Make
a prize.
Famous.
We'll send you something. It'd be really great. We'll share in our fame. But anyway, so I asked if she would get on with me and that she would just share this year has not been easy, as we've talked a little bit about just her experience, and in ministry, full-time is not easy, but definitely when you are in a position where you're kind of outside what you've known and your comfort zone, and you're sharing a room with 2 other girls, small rooms. I mean, it was
one-bedroom apartment.
Yes.
Very small.
We got to catch up at Christmas time, and I was like, "Are you okay? How are you doing that?" I couldn't share. I mean, I don't want to share this house with my kids right now. I'm just joking. So anyway, it's been a challenge, and so just asking her, like, what is something that God's been just teaching you in this process, and in how, what is there something that you'd like to share with students at First Pres, and just what you've learned?
Yeah.
So
definitely. I think one of the things for me is I generally don't have a lot of expectations for something. I try to have low expectations so it exceeds it, and then you're like, wow, this is great. Look at this. Check it out. And so going into my year of serving in Louisville, I didn't really have this great expectation of what it was going to look like or anything. But the little expectation that I did have was not really met. So it was a really challenging time from the beginning. I had signed up to work with kids and young people like you guys, and it didn't happen because the schedules conflicted with the nonprofit that I was working at. So it was just really challenging to sit in an office and not interact with students
and not use your gifts.
Yeah.
I mean, you are gifted to work with students. If you guys have ever seen Danae hang out with students or hang out even with children, she's great. My kids love her a lot more. She's a lot more fun than me. But she's definitely gifted to run with students. And
yeah, so it was a big challenge in my work area, and then also at home it was really challenging. Just the people that I lived with, we grew up very differently, and so there were a lot of small things that were super challenging. But I think out of all of that, I just learned that, like, even though sometimes the expectations that I do have and what I want it to look like is not always what it is, but I do think that I learned a lot coming out on the other end, just about different people, but also what ministry might look like for me. If it's not, I mean, you got to sit in the office too.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
It's just part of it.
No, it's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah, so sitting in a chair sometimes and not being with students or not being outside or doing something that I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do this my whole life. It was a little bit of a rude awakening. But,
yeah.
It's reality, and I think it's good that I learned that early.
Yeah.
Kind of have a different expectation of what might going into ministry in a church or whatever else the nonprofit parachurch might look like. So
yeah, it's so crazy, like the growing pains that we experience when we go through a season that's not how we want it to go. When we go through experiences that I wouldn't have I've chosen certain times of my world.
Definitely.
But when I look at it from this side of it, it's like, dang, God, you were using this really, really difficult time to grow me and to show me more about myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that you learned a lot about your own leadership and like how you deal with situations and how you deal with, just conflict or.
Yeah.
Is there like a passage that you felt like God kind of put on your heart?
Yeah.
Through this time?
Yes. Let me pull it up.
Guys, go get your Bibles. Go get your Bibles.
Dust it off.
Get your Bibles.
Okay, I'm using my phone because I didn't bring my Bible, but that's okay. All right, so Hebrews 12, verse 11. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. And I think this kind of sums up my past 9-10 months, whatever it was. Just we're put through painful things or difficult things, but like we're only put through what God knows that we can handle. I think that's definitely something that I've learned, and I think maybe not today, maybe not in a year, but a couple years from now or a couple months from now, I might see something that I learned back then, see the fruits from that. So that's exciting and something to look forward to.
Yeah. I think that right now everybody can resonate with that a little bit. I mean, things are not the way we'd like them to be honest. Not. I mean, and some of us, like some of my friends out there, they're living it up. Like they love it. All of a sudden this free time and they're getting to do what they want to do. And some of us don't have the responsibilities or the different things that, I was thinking about our football guys. Like normally they are like camp, and like running all those little camps. And like, didn't you do that when soccer camps? Did you guys help with that a little bit? And none of those are available right now. And so there's just a lot more freedom, and that's been incredible. But there's also a lot of expectations that we've had that have not come to fruition. I mean, I think I'm still, sad and mourning that we're not going on summer trips. Like, that's such a huge part.
Yeah, it is.
Huge part. Well, let's talk a little bit. Is there anything that you would want to just encourage students in as they're walking through the season? Or I know last week we kind of talked about Chase, who we had on here, said like stick a flag in this moment, journal about it, put something up, build a monument or whatever it is, to remind yourself of this moment so we can look back on it and be like, dang, God, like you grew, like that was rough and that was hard and I didn't like the way the world was going in that moment, but like we changed for the good. Like it was, I saw you at work, and it goes along with your same passage of like, there's this discipline that's in right now, these guidelines. I mean, I don't like social distancing. It is not my thing.
Can't hug anyone.
I know. And like, it's just the camera effect, but we're really 6 feet apart.
It's really far.
I know. And so, but it's just hard, and like wearing the masks and knowing what to do, and just even like conversations we're having at church, like when can I actually like get students back together and can we hang out and do stuff. And I hate that. I hate those rules. Like, it's not fun. I don't like rules anyway, but when you're telling me I can't hang out with my friends,
like, why not?
What the heck?
The Rona ruins everything.
The Rona ruins it. But how would you want to encourage students right now to like live fully into this?
Yeah. One big thing, 2 words actually, be still. It's actually on a bracelet that I'm wearing right now. It was given to me by someone probably a month before all of this crazy stuff happened, and it's kind of funny. So now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's okay to be still, and it's okay to sit down and slow down. And I think the first couple weeks of quarantine and everything that happened, just the initial shock of how busy we all were and having to slow down, like being forced to slow down, was really difficult. But once you kind of find a routine and realize like it's okay to sit down and read or journal or call someone you might not call very often, like call a cousin, call a friend, and just having that extra bit of time, I think is something that we'll look back on and be like, wow, I wish I could go back to quarantine and just have that small period of time, that hour a day or a couple hours a day or whatever that might look like. Just go back on that and wish that you had more time sometimes. Because it's definitely made the day seem longer.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think like to piggyback off that verse, like be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know that I'm at work and that I am present, and that even, when you feel like things are out of control or it's not going the way you want it to go, just stop and remember that God is in control. I think that's so key in walking through this successfully and victoriously on the other end of it. It's cool. Yeah. All right, if you could share, we were laughing a little bit just prepping for this video, thinking about some of our youth group memories and things that happened while Danae was in youth group. But do you have a favorite memory?
I don't know if I could pick a favorite one. I feel like we were always up to no good with Katie around. I don't know. We were always doing something with my friends. We'd always hang out, especially in the summer. In the summer, we were always together doing something, whether it was at the lake or going to Sonic. Sonic was a big hit.
Sonic was big.
Happy hour.
It was big. Yes. Oh my gosh,
Good
happy
stuff.
hour. Yeah. So we did a couple trips that were wild. Like a lot of it was just hanging out. And they would come over to my house a lot and do stuff. And I always laugh at the pictures that pop up in my memories of like craziness of just being together. But what would you say was so important about being in youth group or just this church? What?
Probably the biggest thing for me was just the community, finding the people who were like-minded. And we kind of all had the same idea of what we wanted high school to look like and kind of church, and I think we formed that together, and that's why we got so close and grew closer together, grew close with you pretty fast. And I think just having those people there.
Yeah.
was definitely my favorite part.
Danae reminded me that today is 8 years since I've been here at First Pres, and like how many incredible memories we have. If you were to think back, like how has your time like doing student ministry, being part of this church, like what has that meant for you? Like how has that impacted your world?
I just think it's reminded me that wherever I go, I need to find a community like I had here. Like finding those people that I can just get in a car with and drive around and do nothing, go to Sonic and sit with, and just have those people there to support me and be there for me. And I think that's been probably the most important thing that I could probably have learned at that age. I guess now looking back, thinking about that is definitely, it's important to have those people, because without people, like you're built for community, and without people, I often think about like what would my high school days have been like if I didn't have my youth group to kind of walk with me and challenge me and keep me accountable, pull me back in when I was feeling wild. So that's so important. But like you make such a good point. Like it's important. Like First Pres is important, and having our community together and doing life together is so important. But like also beyond that, I mean, we have a huge group of seniors who are graduating this year, and so that's been something we've really focused on. Is like, what does it look like? Like you're leaving this safe community, but what does it look like to go on and find your own,
that community when you wherever you go?
Important.
So, do you have like a favorite memory of doing youth group here, doing student ministry stuff?
I would say the trips, specifically the van rides.
Yes,
always fun.
So
Always
much,
singing.
So much
Occasionally,
bonding.
when there was a boy van and a girl van, the boy van would go by and you might see a full moon, but I don't know.
Oh gosh. I was always driving. I didn't want to know about that. I just remember I'd only been here like a couple weeks, and we leave to go to Camden, New Jersey on this big trip. I don't know everyone real well. And
she was pretty awkward at first.
I was awkward? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Not anymore.
It's always weird, like coming into a brand new group. You don't know how they do things and perceive you, and all of a sudden you're like on this 20-hour, I don't even know how long. It was a long
10 hours maybe.
Oh,
it
was such a long drive. But there was a boy van and a girl van, and I was driving the girl van, and Brady Carter was driving the guy van, and I just remember driving, and like I was lead, and all of a sudden the boys pass us, and they're all shirtless with the windows down, like just jamming out, and I was just like, yeah, that's not something we're gonna do in our van, but we'll keep singing songs together.
We'll roll down the thing with you.
So funny. Do you remember too, like that they had created like Brady had taught him how to freestyle, and so they had like a whole like freestyle about each person in the van. Oh, yeah. So funny. I think about trips being so important. Mm-hmm. It's like this time where you kind of step outside your comfort zone, step outside what you do every day, and you're just immersed in community together and growing together. And those relationships are like so key as you go back and you do the school year together. Or, and I think like when we reminisce, like those memories are wild. Like every memory, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that actually happened. And I was responsible for that. But how fun that was, and the cool experiences we got to have together, and the laughs.
Yeah, lots of laughs.
Got to have together.
Lots of time at your house.
So, yeah.
Her door was always open, and so sometimes I would just walk in, and she'd be like, "Hey, Danae."
It still is. Oh,
I know.
I'm
just saying.
It's different though, having kids for sure.
Yeah.
Like you guys used to just hang out all the time.
I held little baby Brady. He was tiny.
That's so true.
It's weird.
That is wild.
He's old now.
He is.
He's like almost a full man.
No, I'm just kidding.
He
thinks he is. I think that as we're walking through this season, it's like we've kind of gotten out of the habit of being together and of meeting together, and how important it is that we stay consistent in that in whatever way we can. And so, guys, as we're kind of having conversations about what does it look like to come back and what is it, what is the summer going to look like, I just want to encourage you guys to take advantage of every opportunity that we're able to be together. It stinks not being able to do summer trips. I'm still struggling a little bit with that, but because those, like you said, like that's where like these cool memories are made and communities built. But
summer 2020 with the Rona, you're never gonna forget.
You're never gonna forget.
So make it a good one.
And I shared a couple weeks ago, like, let's be intentional. Let's really work together to love each other well and to not just come to things because we want to, but because we know that as a community we need each other, and how cool it will be. So be looking for things that are coming up. We're getting excited about getting to put together a schedule, and it might just be 10 or less, and we might be just doing little things here and there, but jump on and be part of it. And when you're allowed, I'd love to hang out with you. Let's go get lunch, or let's just hang out outside somewhere. Let's go for a hike. Let's do whatever. Danae likes doing that stuff too.
Love it. Outdoors.
So we'll hit the lake, whatever. What do you think you do most of the time in summer in Bristol?
Anything outdoors.
Anything outdoors.
I hike, I kayak. Katie takes me out on the boat.
Hey, let's do it, guys.
I don't know what else I do.
I
Just
love
anything outside.
Yeah.
It's just so nice. Bristol's great.
Bristol is great.
Don't take it for granted.
That's true. That's so
I
true.
get excited when I come home now.
Yes.
I never thought it would.
I lived here in college, and I was like, eh.
Yeah.
And then I come back to live here, and I'm like,
exactly. Thankful there's a lake around, body of water.
Oh, it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
Mountains, hiking.
It's good.
Climbing.
It's good. It's God's country.
Can't believe you did that.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna wrap this up, but
before things get weird.
Hey, we're so thankful that you jumped on with us. Thankful for Danae, and we just hope that you have been encouraged, and we'd love to see you if you are allowed to hang out. So just let me know, and we will be in touch soon. Wash your hands, sinners.
Do it.
Do it. All right. Have a good week, guys.